Welcome to week 6 of PPL Live. We're here for another exciting week. We're going to recap week 5 and get ourselves all set up for our exciting week 6. I'm GENO the GENT here with my boy Ulysses S. Hate, and we're here to break down all the happenings in the PPL. Starting with the prestige matchup of the week. We've got Squad Underestimated taking on the Skulls. All right, man. Both of these teams coming off of resounding victories. The Skulls at 197, leaving no doubt. And Squad Underestimated coming up number 2 in scoring last week with a respectable 176 as they were able to put down the Baby Gas team. Ulysses, what you got here, man?
Yeah, mad props to both teams. I've been giving Squad some grief. Guys showed up. I still will hold them to it, though.
Right.
Matthew Stafford's not the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when I look at this matchup, I think that Houston-Kansas City game could be a big shootout game. I think Houston has shown that they're that kind of team.
Right.
So is KC. So I think that just looking at the matchups in this, I think that this is going to be an incredibly tight game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that both teams have favorable matchups. There are some health concerns. I think, we're at that point in the season where guys are getting banged up.
Right.
And Christian McCaffrey's had to, shoulder the load, entirely in Carolina. But, hell, he's making it happen.
Exactly.
I think that really it just comes down to guys getting it done in high pressure situations, and I think Deshaun does it. I think that Matthew Stafford against Green Bay. I don't see that game turning into a shootout.
Okay.
And I've got the Skulls in a close one here, but high scoring. I think that they get it 130 to 128 over Squad.
Okay. I'm going to have to go the other way on this one. I got a few sources within the Skulls organization, and they're really, really expecting big things out of their superstar Le'Veon Bell. They said when they made the trade for this guy, they wanted big-time production, and he just hasn't provided that yet. Now, he's been solid, but unspectacular on his end. Now, of course, you can't deny the fact that Deshaun Watson and Aaron Jones both went for over 45 points. 90 points between two guys. That's almost a guaranteed victory. The Skulls actually had that. I don't even know if there was ever another situation in PPL history where one team had two 40-plus point players in the same matchup. So, the Skulls looked highly impressive, but I'm still not happy with the receivers. Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd, just leaves a little bit more to be desired. They had to pick up Gerald Everett because of the Evan Ingram injury. So the Skulls aren't looking like the team that's put up those points last week, despite some of the changes. Now, when I'm looking at Squad Underestimated, highly impressed with the season that they've been having, man. Tyler Lockett got the show started with the toe tap TD, and it just went on from there. Hollywood Brown had a decent game. He caught a touchdown. And Adam Thielen finally showed up to the party, man. And if he can get Thielen back to where he was last year, I'm loving Squad's prospects going forward, and I love them in this matchup. I got Squad Underestimated winning this one, 129 to 120. I think it'll be pretty close, but I think Squad Underestimated gets it done. Moving on to our next matchup in the PPL, we have the Baby Gas team taking on Patty's Twins. All right, interconference warfare continues with this matchup. Patty's Twins, one of the hottest teams in the league, the best team in the league, according to you, Ulysses, goes up against the Baby Gas team, who after a nice start has kind of slid back into the pack. What you think of this one?
Yeah, they are the best team in the PPL.
Mm-hmm.
When Aaron Rodgers is probably at the position, your weakest player,
okay,
you're doing just fine. I think that this team's stacked from top to bottom.
Right.
They really have nothing. They leave nothing to be desired.
Right.
They're not weak anywhere. And they're playing a team that heartbreaking loss last week. Squad just showed out.
Right.
I think that we saw what the Baby Gas team could be. I just think that they run into it's just David versus Goliath here, and I think Goliath wins.
Okay.
I think that San Francisco could potentially get it done against the Rams. I think that's going to be a hard potential game for them.
Right.
Playing a divisional opponent on the road.
On the road.
Now they're facing that pressure of now like sustaining.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get to 5-0. Like, I mean, now the pressure is on to maintain that.
Right.
And the Rams have been fighting. So I mean, we're gonna learn a lot about those teams. But I just think for this reason, Baby Gas team is just playing into too tough an opponent. I've got the Twins winning this one, 121-112.
All right, I'm going to have to go with you on this one, man. I totally agree with you. Spot on analysis. The only concern I have about the Twins is David Johnson's potential availability. I don't think he practiced today, and I know Chase Edmonds did some pretty decent things in the matchup last week. I think he scored a touchdown. Austin Eckler is not ceding any territory to Melvin Gordon. That is going to be paramount in this matchup because Melvin Gordon is sitting on the flex for the Baby Gas team on the other side. But I'm not going to be too hard on the Baby Gas team because I'm seeing the effort, man. They're making the moves now. They're trying to figure out what they need to do to keep their team in a high-scoring position. And this is a team that put up 134 points last week. So this isn't a team that we can just sneeze at and think that they can't get it done. But they better get something done at that head coach spot. The Chicago Bears are on a bye. I do like Mark Ingram bouncing back against the Cincinnati Bengals. And obviously Matt Ryan, I mean, he's going to score big points whether the Falcons win or lose, and they got an easy opponent with Arizona. I don't like the DJ Moore pick, but you got to play, somebody. I just don't like BGT's receivers, and that's why I'm going to go with Patty's Twins here. I got Patty's Twins winning behind Aaron Rodgers on Monday night, 116 to 108. I think it'll be a little more low scoring. I think the Twins might fall back down to earth a little bit, but so will the BGT. Moving on to our next matchup in the PPL, we have the Mean Machine taking on the Gaff Attack. All right, the Coachgate conspirators from a few years back from the 2015 season looks like they're going to be locking horns in a big time matchup. The Machine is looking flawless, and the Gaff can't catch a break. Man, what are you looking at here?
Well, yeah, I mean, Mean Machine won a game last week he needed to win. It's only for the boss. And I mean, the Gaff again, latest victim of the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, I just think that I think the Gaff has been the victim of collateral injuries all season.
Right.
But I think that this is their get right week. To be honest, I think that the Machine, they've been riding on that Bears D. And they've got the Packers in there. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Right.
That game could either be really stalwart or that one could be high scoring. I don't know. Both offenses have that capability, and I'm just seeing that the Gaff has the better matchups, and I think that they get right this week. I mean, I'm not sure what it means for their season overall. I think that they could exploit some of these matchups. I think that some of their key guys have. If Todd Gurley can get involved, I think that if the Rams win that game, I mean, everybody's going to need to get involved.
Right.
I mean, so they may be able to get an opening against San Francisco. But I've got the Gaff winning this one, 117 to 109.
All right. I'm going to have to go the other way completely. The Mean Machine is by far one of the best teams in the league, and the Gaff has shown that they're one of the worst teams in the league. I'm looking at Carson Wentz, man. He's a really good quarterback. Every time I watch him play, I know he didn't play well last week, but I think he's due for a get-right game against Minnesota in a game that I think is going to be high-scoring because they're finally letting Kirk Cousins throw, and the Eagles' DBs are trash. So that game, I think, is going to get more high-scoring than a lot of people expect, so I love Carson Wentz there. I love Odell bouncing back, too. I know that the Browns looked terrible on Monday night, but I think that had a little bit more to do with their opponent than other people are willing to admit. I think everybody's just throwing it on Baker Mayfield when I feel like the Niners defensive line completely collapsed the offensive line of the Browns. So I think Odell is going to be in position to get right. Amari Cooper had 40 points almost last week. I like that to continue against the Jets. The only problem I see with the Machine is their tight end position. O.J. Howard's catching more foul balls at a Rays game than he is footballs in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. That's a problem. And obviously my boy Mike Thomas, I mean, come on, man. This guy, it don't matter who the quarterback is. It looks like he's going to get his. On the Gaff side, man, I'm still kind of not convinced about the Rams. I do like Todd Gurley, but the 49ers run defense has been the best in the NFL so far this season. So, I mean, that could be a harbinger of doom for the Niners. That might mean Gurley goes off. but I'm still going to stick with precedent right now. I'm going to go with thinking that the Niners are able to slow down Todd Gurley. Now, I like that he's putting Brandon Cooks back into the lineup because that's a guy he needs in his lineup. He's a big play waiting to happen. If he's able to, I think he's healthy this week. Yeah, he's questionable, but if he plays, I think he's going to be a big impact for the Gaff. But in the end, I just like the machine more. I'm not feeling Juju right now. I think D-Hop is due for a real get-right game, especially after watching my boy Will Fuller go for almost 50 points. But in the end, the machine has shown that they're going to consistently do what they need to do to win. I got the Mean Machine winning this one, 124 to 112. I think that they are able to stay atop the Alpha Conference. Moving on to our next matchup, we go with Only for the Boss, taking on the United Players, the Destroyers. Man, the United Players, the Destroyers. We weren't sure where I said I wasn't sure where it was going to come from last week, and the shit came from everywhere, man. What do you got on this one?
I mean, that was probably the win for the franchise. I don't think that they've ever beaten the Argos.
They beat them last year.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, well, shit, starting a trend.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was impressed. I mean, there was no weakness on this team. I think that this is the United Players that we saw early on in the season, and I think when they assert themselves, they can beat anybody.
Right.
I think. I mean, Chris Godwin's playing out of his mind right now.
Right.
He's got those intangibles down. I mean, Austin Hooper's been balling. Patriots D has been putting up points. Kicker, I mean, he's coach. I mean,
everywhere.
When you play a guy that has all the chiefs, like, I mean, you either going to get that coach victory or you going to win because your other player has half of his team not performing.
Right.
So I think that he got this one covered. I think Only for the Boss is I don't know what they're going to do this week. They've got people on buys. They've got people injured.
Right.
I don't know if the Eagles are going to be able to win at Minnesota.
Right.
So I think that they've got a lot of moves that they need to make. And right now, I think that the United Players are on pace for a lead, no doubt, week.
Right.
I'm going to put them at 140 with the current lineup the Boss has 85 points, maybe.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with you completely on this one. The Boss is starting to show disinterest. When I'm seeing guys like Tarek Cohen and Wayne Gallman still in the lineup, as well as Sterling Shepard. I mean, if he doesn't change his lineup by tomorrow night, I mean, he's gonna get 2 zeros just off the bat. Just sloppy. And then on the United Player side, every week they're coming out guns blazing. I'm looking, like you said, at Chris Godwin and Cooper Kupp. I mean, this is the nobody receiver year. And he has Chris Godwin, who's the number 1 receiver in the whole PPL, and Cooper Kupp, who's the number 3 receiver in the PPL. Now, if I told you on draft day, Cooper Kupp and Chris Godwin would be in the top 3 in receiving in week 6, you would have looked at me like I was crazy, right, Ulysses?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm still looking at you crazy.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, how are you looking at me crazy? It's Godwin and Kupp doing the damage, man. I'm just saying that. No one would have expected this. I mean, and then even Austin Hooper is the number 2 tight end in the league. I mean, just across the board, Brady's playing top 10 ball. So it's really nowhere else to really talk about this matchup. I got the United Players in the blowout, 138 to 78. And moving on to our final matchup of week 6, we have the Argonauts taking on Appease the Gods. Athens and Sparta clash again. These two teams are the pillar teams of the PPL, man. I know we both have a lot of inside sources on this one. What you got here?
Well, I mean, less no doubt. Again,
right.
I mean, on them.
Right.
ATC can do nothing right. Will Fuller going dumb. Anybody on the bench is going dumb. I mean, really didn't matter though. I mean, all the props off to the Skulls in that one.
Right.
But when you look at this matchup, I mean, I think that this is just this is a course correct week for the Argos.
Okay.
I know that last week, Josh Jacobs not in the lineup.
Right.
Definitely had an impact. So I mean, I think that. I mean, anybody having problems with the thing to get right has been facing Appease the Gods.
Correct.
I don't think that I mean he's been able to guess the right formula. I think that he's just guessing again this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that playing the Rams against San Francisco is probably wise.
Right.
Other side, I think that I mean, there really are not a lot of weak spots. I mean, the Argo are who they are. They just, you know, I think ran into a hard opponent last week. The United players are really making a push this season.
Right.
And I think are well poised for it. When I look at Dak, Zeke, I think that they can get at the Jets. I think that they need to really. George Kittle's been doing it. Nick Chubb, I mean, you know, for everything that happened last week, I mean,
he looks solid.
One of the few bright spots. So I think that if you get some space against that D, you can get space against anybody. So I think that this is really, you know, isn't really a game. I think that the Argonauts leave no doubt this week.
Okay.
I'm going to say 149 to 118 for a piece of that.
Okay. Big course correction week for the Argo you got projected. I'm going the other way, man. The Argonauts, as much as you say ATG hasn't gotten it right, I don't believe the Argonauts have really gotten it right this year either. There were the two losses they had. They left guys on the bench that could have won it for them. So they've shown chinks in their armor so far this year. And let's be real. ATG's had a higher scoring week than the Argos have had all year. The Argonauts have not cracked 130, and ATG, I believe, has cracked over 150. So ATG's already shown the higher ceiling, and I like their matchups. Lamar Jackson in a get-right matchup against Cincinnati. I think that'll be more high scoring than people think. So that'll kind of negate the Argos' D and coach. I love the Will Fuller start against Kansas City. That game's going to be a shootout. And then Chris Carson is really starting to show his value to the Seattle Seahawks. I thought he played great last Thursday, and I like for that to continue against the Cleveland Browns, who just got gashed by the 49ers for almost 300 yards rushing. So I like their matchups there. Mike Evans getting a donut means he's going to get dumb in England this week. So I think that's a great pickup for them. And then Greg Olsen, obviously another very low-scoring week. I think that he corrects course. And then he's going to start the show with Julian Edelman tomorrow. I really like ATG on their side. Now, with the Argonauts, the projection score is high, but there's a reason why that projection is high, because it's accounting that Devontae Adams and Julio Jones are both going to play. I'm not so sure either of those guys play. If they both don't play, the Argonauts are super thin at receiver, and it showed last week. While you said the backfield is strong, James Conner just he's suffering the same residuals as Juju Smith-Schuster for the gaff. The quarterback position is capping the potential of Pittsburgh Steelers players across the board. So I'm not really all that sure about that. A lot of questions on the Argo despite the high projection. I think ATG gets the upset of the season. I got a piece of the gods winning this matchup 128 to 124. All right, PPLers. Thanks for another great week of PPL Live. GENO the Gent and Ulysses S. Hate signing off.